Geb, in ancient Egyptian mythology, holds a significant role as the god of the earth. His depictions and attributes illustrate his essential place in the Egyptian pantheon and cosmology. Here's a detailed exploration of Geb and his mythological significance. Depiction and iconography. 1. Human form. Geb is frequently portrayed as a man, usually lying down, symbolizing the earth's surface. His reclining posture signifies his connection to the land. 2. Green skin. His skin is often depicted in green, representing vegetation, fertility, and the life-giving aspects of the earth. In some representations, his skin might also be brown, symbolizing the soil. 3. Crown with a goose. Geb can be identified by the goose symbol, a hieroglyph for his name, that he wears on his head. The goose is one of his primary symbols. 4. Hieroglyphic representation. The hieroglyph for Geb includes a goose, underscoring his association with this bird. 5. Relationship with Nut. Geb is typically depicted lying beneath his sister and consort Nut, the sky goddess. This imagery often shows Nut arching over him, separated by their father Shu, the god of air. Shu's role is to hold Nut up, preventing her from merging with Geb. This separation symbolizes the distinct realms of the sky and the earth. Mythological role. 1. Father of gods, Geb, together with Nut, is the parent of several important deities, including Osiris, Isis, Seth, and Nephthys. This makes him a key figure in the divine genealogy of Egyptian mythology. 2. Judgment of the dead. Geb plays a role in the judgment of the dead. He is often depicted in scenes related to the weighing of the heart ceremony, which determines the deceased's worthiness to enter the afterlife. 3. Earthquakes and harvest. As the personification of the earth, Geb is associated with natural phenomena like earthquakes. Ancient Egyptians believed earthquakes were Geb's laughter. He is also connected to the fertility of the land and the success of crops. Symbolism and worship. 1. Symbols. In addition to the goose, Geb is associated with barley, which symbolizes agriculture and the fertility of the earth. 2. Cult centers. While not having a central place of worship like some other deities, Geb was revered across Egypt. His presence was felt in various religious texts and funerary practices. 3. Mythological stories. Geb appears in several key myths, including the contendings of Horus and Seth, where he plays a role in the dispute over the throne of Egypt, ultimately deciding that Horus should be the ruler. Iconic representations. 1. Funerary art. Geb is often depicted in tomb paintings and sarcophagi, emphasizing his role in the afterlife and as the god who allows the dead to be reborn in the underworld. 2. Temple reliefs. In temple carvings and reliefs, Geb is shown in his characteristic posture and with his typical attributes, reinforcing his connection to the earth and the pantheon. Geb's depiction lying beneath Nut, the sky goddess, not only symbolizes the physical relationship between the earth and the sky, but also reflects the broader Egyptian cosmological and religious beliefs. His enduring presence in Egyptian mythology underscores the importance of the earth and its fertility to the ancient Egyptians. The history and development of Geb as a deity in ancient Egyptian mythology is deeply intertwined with the evolution of Egyptian religious beliefs and practices over millennia. Here is a comprehensive look at the history of Geb, pre-dynastic and early dynastic periods. Origins. The worship of earth deities can be traced back to the pre-dynastic period, before 3100 BCE. Geb likely evolved from earlier local earth gods as Egyptian religion became more centralized and sophisticated. Name and symbol. Geb's name in hieroglyphics includes the symbol of a goose, an animal associated with him. His connection to the earth was a fundamental concept even in these early times. Old Kingdom, circa 2686, 2181 BCE. Cosmology. During the Old Kingdom, Geb's role within the Egyptian cosmology became more defined. He was established as the god of the earth, a member of the Heliopolitan Ennead, a group of 9 deities worshipped primarily in Heliopolis. Mythological role: Geb was seen as the son of Shu, air, and Tefnut, moisture, brother and husband of Nut, sky, and father of Osiris, Isis, Seth, and Nephthys. These familial connections placed him at the heart of many myths. Iconography: in pyramid texts, Geb is often mentioned and depicted, underscoring his importance in the king's journey to the afterlife. His green or earth-colored skin symbolizes fertility and life. Middle Kingdom, circa 2055, 1650 BCE. Expanding influence: the Middle Kingdom saw a continuation and expansion of Geb's worship. His association with fertility and the harvest made him an essential deity for agricultural societies. Funerary texts: coffin texts from this period often mention Geb, emphasizing his role in the afterlife and his position in the divine judgment process. New Kingdom, circa 1550, 1070 BCE. Prominence in myths: in the New Kingdom, Geb's prominence in religious texts and temple art continued to grow. He played a crucial role in the contendings of Horus and Seth, where he ultimately decided that Horus should inherit the throne of Egypt. Worship practices: temples and religious texts from this period highlight Geb's importance. His imagery appeared in tomb paintings and temple reliefs, reinforcing his association with the earth and the afterlife. Late period, c. 664 to 332 BCE, and Greco-Roman period, 332 BCE, 395 CE. Syncretism: during the late period and into the Greco-Roman period, Geb's characteristics began to merge with those of similar deities from other cultures, reflecting the syncretic nature of Egyptian religion at the time. Continued worship: Geb continued to be revered, and his role in the pantheon remained significant. The Ptolemaic and Roman rulers often adopted Egyptian gods into their own religious practices, ensuring Geb's continued worship. Legacy: cultural impact: Geb's role as the earth god made him a crucial figure in the agricultural society of ancient Egypt. His myths and stories have been passed down through generations, illustrating his enduring legacy. Modern interpretation: today, Geb is studied as part of the rich tapestry of Egyptian mythology. His representations in art, literature, and religious texts offer insights into the ancient Egyptian worldview. Key myths and roles: parent of gods, Geb, along with Nut, is the progenitor of several key deities, including Osiris, Isis, Seth, and Nephthys. This makes him central to many mythological narratives. Judge of the dead: in various mythological accounts, Geb plays a role in the judgment of the dead, often depicted in scenes of the weighing of the heart ceremony. Symbol of fertility: as the god of the earth, Geb symbolizes fertility, life, and the sustenance provided by the land. His laughter was believed to cause earthquakes, indicating his direct influence on the physical world. Geb's history reflects the complex evolution of Egyptian religion, where gods could embody natural forces, familial roles, and essential societal functions. His enduring presence in ancient Egyptian culture highlights the integral connection between mythology, religion, and the environment. The worship of Geb, the ancient Egyptian god of the earth, was an integral part of Egyptian religious practices and beliefs. Here's a detailed overview of how Geb was worshipped. Temples and cult centers. 1. Local shrines and temples. While Geb did not have a single, major center of worship like some other deities, he was venerated in various temples and local shrines throughout Egypt. These places often featured statues and reliefs depicting Geb. 2. Heliopolis. As a member of the Heliopolitan Ennead, Geb was particularly associated with Heliopolis, one of the major religious centers in ancient Egypt. The Ennead, a group of 9 deities including Atum, Shu, Tefnut, Nut, Osiris, Isis, Seth, and Nephthys were primarily worshipped there. Rituals and offerings. 1. Agricultural rituals. Given Geb's role as the god of the earth and fertility, many agricultural rituals were directed towards him. Farmers would offer the first fruits of the harvest to Geb, seeking his blessings for abundant crops and fertility of the land. 2. Daily offerings. Priests in various temples would perform daily rituals that included offerings of food, drink, incense, and other items to statues or images of Geb. These offerings were meant to nourish the god and keep him favorably disposed towards humanity. 3. Festivals. Certain festivals were held in Geb's honor, often linked to agricultural cycles. These celebrations might include processions, feasts, and community gatherings to honor Geb and other deities. Iconography and symbolism. 1. Depictions in art. Geb was often depicted in temple reliefs, tomb paintings, and on sarcophagi. He was shown lying down with green or brown skin, symbolizing the earth, and sometimes with a goose on his head. 2. Symbols. The goose and barley were primary symbols associated with Geb. The goose, represented in hieroglyphics, was a direct reference to his name and identity. Barley and other grains symbolized fertility and the earth's bounty. Mythological context. 1. Role in creation myths. In various creation myths, Geb played a crucial role as part of the Heliopolitan Ennead. His union with Nut, the sky goddess, produced some of the most important deities in Egyptian mythology, including Osiris, Isis, Seth, and Nephthys. 2. Weighing of the heart. Geb was also associated with the afterlife, particularly in the context of the Judgment of the Dead. Scenes of the weighing of the heart ceremony in the Book of the Dead sometimes feature Geb, emphasizing his role in determining the fate of souls. Daily life and beliefs. 1. Prayers and inscriptions. Ordinary Egyptians might offer prayers to Geb, especially in relation to agricultural concerns or the fertility of the land. Inscriptions invoking Geb's blessings can be found on tombs, stelae, and other monuments. 2. Household worship. While Geb was primarily worshipped in temples, household altars and personal devotional practices also existed. Families might have small statues or amulets of Geb to ensure the fertility of their fields and protection of their homes. Syncretism and evolution. 1. Integration with other deities. Over time, Geb's attributes and functions were sometimes merged with those of other earth or fertility deities, reflecting the syncretic nature of Egyptian religion. During the Greco-Roman period, elements of Geb's worship might have blended with Greek and Roman earth deities. Legacy. 1. Historical impact. Geb's worship reflects the deep connection between the ancient Egyptians and their environment. As the personification of the earth, Geb embodied the fertility, stability, and life-sustaining qualities of the land. 2. Modern interpretation. Today, Geb is studied as part of the rich tapestry of Egyptian mythology. His worship practices offer insights into ancient Egyptian religious life and the importance of agriculture and fertility in their society. In summary, the worship of Geb was widespread and multifaceted, involving temple rituals, agricultural festivals, and personal devotion. His role as the god of the earth made him a crucial figure in the religious and everyday life of ancient Egyptians.